So hi everyone, my name is Leanne Robers. I am the co-founder and co-CEO of She Loves Tech. She Loves Tech is the world's largest startup competition and accelerator program for women in technology. We operate this year in over 40 countries around the world, 6 continents, and we also host what we call the CES for Women in Technology, which is our global conference and has wonderful speakers like Ariana Huffington and Ann Carnes, for Vice Chair of MasterCard. So that's what we do at She Loves Tech. And before that, I started my career actually in corporate. I was in the UK and working for Siemens doing trains and railway solutions. And I was doing business development, working with a lot of the different governments to be able to build their railway solutions. And after that, I had started my very first venture. I built a company that was a hospitality and hotel management company where we acquired real estate around Southeast Asia and transformed them into boutique hotel resorts. And then after that, I went into consulting for a couple of years. And quite soon after consulting, after I left, I started my second and my third company. And now She Loves Tech is my fourth company that I have founded. We started this in 2015. We're celebrating our 7th year this year. So it's been extremely exciting. And, one of the things that I really love working with startups. I love working in the tech sector. It's just so exciting. There are just so many things happening here. And I'm really plugged into the ecosystem, not just through She Loves Tech, but I also do a lot of advisory and mentoring. So I'm a lead mentor at the Singapore Tourism Board's Tech Accelerator and Facebook's Accelerator. And I also advise for large corporations like Microsoft. It really, investors used to look out for buzzwords for artificial intelligence, big data, blockchain, crypto, and a lot of companies that were impact driven, that were socially good, were really seen as nice to have, but that they didn't have any investment potential. However, what we're noticing in the last 1.5 years during this time of COVID is that those companies that were seen as socially good are now seen as necessary and urgent post-COVID. So I give you an example. We have a company, a She Loves Tech company called Wonder Tech. And they do emotion AI, and they're actually using voice AI to help to solve certain psychological and mental health issues such as depression. And when they first started out, people were saying, okay, this is a great company, and they hit the right spots in terms of the buzzwords. But at that time, mental health wasn't seen as important. Now we go through COVID and mental health has become a very important thing. Investors are realizing that if they take just a short-term kind of viewpoint, yes, it may not have the investment potential as some of the other kind of big trends, but in the longer term, if we don't value our employees' mental health, we're going to be losing our workforce. People are our greatest assets. We need to be able to invest in them, their physical, their mental, their emotional health. And so we're really seeing that this has been a trend, that people are starting to pay attention to things that are impactful, to things that are socially good. I think for us, and for me especially, I would go beyond looking for just book smarts to really looking at curiosity, so intellectual curiosity, and what you had just said, which was resilience. If you're early on in your career, I would urge people to be focused on learning, on improving, on trying, and then more importantly, develop the skills of learning, improving, and trying, because the skills that may be relevant now may not be relevant in 10 years. But I would say that my first learning really is that, as I had mentioned earlier, we hear so many buzzwords all the time: AI, blockchain, crypto, big data. But one of my biggest learnings is that technology is a means to an end and not an end in itself. So building tech solutions just for the sake of building it is really a waste of time. It's going to be a waste of money more often than not. And I think one of my biggest learnings building different tech products has really been to focus on solving a very important problem and to let the tech follow the problem, not the other way around. My second learning has to do with self-compassion. I think self-compassion goes such a long way. We are held down all the time by imposter syndrome, by self-limiting beliefs. So I really hope that people start to reframe all of these, what I call ants, automatic negative thoughts. So let's reframe all of the ants in our lives that weigh us down. And my last, I guess, key learning would be use your difference as your strength and not your weakness. When I first started out in my career in the UK, I was in a large engineering conglomerate, and I was female. I am female. I was very young at that time, and I'm Asian. And I was promoted to a manager at a very early stage of my career. And I was leading teams that were predominantly made out of people who were white, people who were men, and people who were much older than I was. And I really struggled to find my voice. I tried to be one of the boys, and that didn't work. And my then mentor had told me, Leanne, I didn't hire you, despite you being young. I hired you because you were young, because you could bring a fresh perspective to these teams who all kind of, look the same, have grown up the same way, have been in the same environment. And that really changed my perspective. And so I started to utilize all of my differences and really change them to become my strengths instead of my weakness. So every time I came to the table, I brought a new, fresh perspective. And that really helped me to be successful as a leader.